Kuwait is a small country in the Middle East made up of only 6,880 square miles and a population of less than 4 million people. It is on the Persian Gulf and bordered by Iraq, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. Kuwait is well known for its abundance of oil.
It's a very small country, and basically it's just one city, basically, but then you have other smaller settlements in the oil fields too.
Well, the coast is pretty well settled.
That's true, down the coast, yeah.
But inland is not much there.
In 1990, Kuwait was accused of stealing Iraqi oil. Saddam Hussein, president of Iraq, claimed that Kuwait was using slant drilling, a form of oil drilling, to reach oil across the border. Also, Saddam Hussein was complaining about the borders being outdated. He demanded they be redrawn. Kuwait also wanted repayment for the $40 billion they lent to Iraq for their war with Iran. On August 2, 1990, the Iraqi army, led by Saddam Hussein, took matters into its own hands and crossed the Kuwaiti border.
So you have the Iraqis with no warning coming over the border down these beautiful highways in Kuwait
which were built to American standards.
Like American
We had
interstates.
the Federal Highway Administration was advising them. So they just zipped all the way from the border into the city.
So you were asleep in your bed
Yes.
in our home in the embassy compound, had a big wall around it. And you got a phone call.
I got a phone call, and they asked me to come to the Chancery, which is the office
Next door.
next door. It's about 100 feet away, and I went over and talked to some of our friends in Kuwaiti intelligence who said they were across the border and they were taking over border posts.
The troops advanced towards Kuwait City, which happened to house a number of foreign embassies.
There were other embassies that tried to stay open too and did as long as they could.
They did, but
most of
they
them.
didn't have the resources we had, and they hadn't planned as well as we did.
Nathaniel Howell was waiting there in Kuwait City at his post. He had been in the Foreign Service since 1965 and was appointed U.S. Ambassador to Kuwait in 1987 by President Reagan.
We got all the rest of our excess staff out of Kuwait, and we kept 8 of us. There were 4 men and 4 women.
When the Iraqis laid siege on the city, they took whatever they wanted.
Steal them, they did.
They stole everything wasn't nailed down. We used to sit there and there'd be whole trailer trucks go by with computer monitors. I don't know where the computers were. They would move them up and down, and another one would come by with one part of something else. I don't know where they were putting all these things back together. Probably nowhere. Yeah.
The families of people who were involved in the siege often only heard from them anywhere from once a week to once a month.
You have to recognize that this was even harder on families back here than it was on us there. I mean, at any given moment, we knew whether we were all right or not. They had no way of knowing.
During the siege, they had to keep busy. It was very hot and very humid. Holidays were celebrated in a unique way.
We had a costume party for Halloween. And it was won by the guy who came as super hostage. A pair of trunks and a cape and a string bag with tuna fish in it. Yes,
They got out the embassy's beautiful,
the
lovely
gold leaf china and
on the
silverware,
tablecloths.
The best,
The napkin rings,
crystal wine glasses.
Wow.
And they made up a turkey out of tuna fish, cans of tuna fish, shaped it. And we had saved 6 cans of pumpkin, so we had pumpkin pie. And it was a real success.
And a fresh vegetable garden.
And a fresh vegetable garden.
They had things coming in by then.
Wow.
Yeah. So one night we were listening, and the buildings looked like a boys' camp. I mean, they were not we liked them, but they were not that fancy buildings. We heard something up in the rafters above us.
About the ceiling? Or
Yeah,
the ceiling?
yeah, it was a ceiling, and then there were rafters up there with the pitch. And one of the Marines took off all his, except one, his black uniform, put a pistol in his belt, got a flashlight, and he crawled up through a crawl space.
Not knowing what was up
Not
there.
knowing what was up there. We were afraid the Iraqis were sort of in there, and if they'd have gotten in there, they could have dropped down on us before we could have saved
Yeah.
the communications gear. So that was pretty scary.
What did it end up being?
Feral cats. I tell you, Mrs. Howell was awarded the Harriman Award for the wife of an ambassador who has done the most for her embassy community.
It came with a monetary award, several $1,000s, which I didn't take. I had it go into a fund we had with the American Women's Group in Kuwait.
American Women's League.
In December of 1990, Saddam Hussein changed his policies and let people go.
For whatever reasons, he decided to change his policy and let people go.
Yeah.
The British and the Americans, and who else did he have hate against? Well, they made them fly out on an Iraqi airplane.
Mm.
And they stopped in Baghdad, picked up some more people, and then the same airplane, or an Iraqi airplane, took them to Germany. They wouldn't let us use on airplanes. So I didn't relax until he got to Germany. He got
Yeah.
off that Iraqi plane.
Yeah.
And then you said you took several baths. You was so
I
dirty.
took a lot of Kuwait out of that country.